Wow, you must be wondering what the hell just happened, or rather, not just happened. This is now a day or two old. As you can see on the screen, we've had one hell of a dump in Bitcoin. But when this happened, I was going to make a video immediately, but I mistakenly thought that this would have been a very quick and short-lived reversal or sell-off, and we would have been back up to where we were almost immediately, within 24 hours. That has turned out not to be the case. Now, there are many reasons for what has happened here. I'm not so sure I know what the reason is. There's talk of the Bitfinex exchange going bankrupt. They are heavily involved in the crypto Tether, and as we know, or as I know, Tether there's a lot of controversy surrounding them. Apparently, they don't have the money backing them that they said they have, and there's a lot of speculation going on there. Now, that could have had something to do with this, but this is not confined to Bitcoin. It is a common thing through 99% of all the other cryptos did exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. And then the stock market did exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. Now, my guess is this was brought about by just people getting a fright over what was happening in the stock market itself. Apparently, I don't follow the stock market too closely, but apparently President Trump announced that he wasn't happy with the Fed, and he said that what they were wrong and what they were doing was craziness. And I think that is what triggered the markets in the stock exchange to fall to huge, or rather not huge, but they fell by huge amounts. I believe the Dow was down over 1,000 points, and so was the S&P 500. They have suffered massive losses. And well, now how do we interpret this? This is not something that we could have forecast in the charts. That is why I didn't make the video immediately. I wanted to see what was going to develop, and as you can see on the chart right there, I'm going to enlarge it in a minute, but as you can see on the chart there, within the last hour or two, we've made that last little green candle there. Now, it is Friday today, and being in South Africa, we are slightly ahead of the bigger markets in the US and that kind of thing, the exchanges, the crypto exchanges. And you guys are still asleep at the moment. It's still pretty early, in the early hours of the morning, and the trading there, although these exchanges are 24/7, open 24/7, you guys are still sleeping. So what has happened now, we've had a bit of a quiet period over the last day or so. People are getting to grips with what has happened, and I think people are now starting to realize that there's nothing really to panic about in the crypto world. That is why it dropped to a hell of a low level. It dropped by a few $100s. Let me just see quickly. It dropped roughly from 6,518 all the way down. I can't see exactly now. Let me just see if I can. There. It dropped down to 6,040. So call it $500. It dropped by $500 within the space of well, this is a 4-hour candle, so within the space of 4 hours it dropped by that much, which was a substantial drop, and people got a fright. But you can see by what the market did after that it dropped, and then people sort of stopped and said, well, what are we doing? And now there's a little bit of a fluctuation. There's been no wave carrying on after that. So people have sort of taken stock and thought, well, you know, this doesn't seem to be anything wrong here. Let's take stock. And like I said, that last candle is starting to show an improvement. Now, I don't know how many of you watch or take note of what Cliff High says in his reports and on his live streams. I'm quite a keen follower. I kind of enjoy the what he calls the woo-woo side of things, and I definitely think that there is something to what he does with his web bots and all that kind of stuff. But he's talking about, I watched one of his live streams, not the last one, the one before, where he spoke about he sees in the data that there's a weekend coming up that is going to be quite huge in the crypto market. I have a feeling that that weekend is going to be this weekend. What is happening on the US stock markets is quite worrying, and I think a lot of people, a lot of large investors are going to start pulling money out, which is going to cause, I would imagine, more drops in stock prices and such. So, but that money has got to go somewhere, and I think a lot of it is going to end up in cryptocurrency and probably Bitcoin. So I think this weekend is going to see something happen in the Bitcoin market. I have a feeling that, look, this massive drop that we've just had is not, like I said, it's not something we could have forecast, and it's definitely not something that the chart showed as a prelude to it. Anyway, there's no way of telling what was to come. But I have a feeling that this is now going to regain the losses pretty quickly as well over this weekend, and I think we might see the charts carry on from where I predicted they would. I just want to reduce this scale again. You see this yellow line? This is the original bottom of the original downward triangle or falling triangle, falling pennant. Now I got a fright when I saw this huge drop, but when I saw it stabilize, I sort of thought, well, you know, nothing is really in danger yet. Once I had found out about the stock markets and everything else, I knew that this move was not organic, or it wasn't the Bitcoin market that just did that by itself. It's people's reaction to what happened in the stock market. So it's not a natural thing for the Bitcoin market anyway. And well, this filtered through to the whole crypto world. If it had come anywhere near or passed through 5,000, what have I got here? 5,000, call it $5,700. If it had passed through that, then I would definitely have been worried. But as it stands now, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near there. Nothing is impossible. It could quite well go there, but I don't think so. I do, however, think that things are going to get worse in the stock market. I think the big crash, as they call it, is coming very soon. I think the powers that be in those markets are doing their level best to keep everything afloat, but it's all false, it's all a lie, it's not real. They've created a market out of thin air that is literally not real and not sustainable, and it's only a matter of time before it does collapse, and I think we're damn close to it right now. So that might influence this, but I think once people realize what is causing what caused this downward drop in the crypto space, and realize that it's the influence of the stock market, then I think a lot more confidence is going to be given to the crypto markets, and you're going to find a lot of money coming from the stock market side to the crypto markets, and I think that's going to be excellent for price. As I said in the previous video, November or October through December is Bitcoin's, call it its season, and generally speaking, Bitcoin has a bit of a run every period through October to December at least. So I am expecting, I'm not too worried about this drop. It did give me a fright when I saw it, because I went to bed and it was still above my little miniature triangle within the bigger triangle. It was just I think on the candle just before the drop. I went to bed and I got up the next morning and I saw this drop, and I nearly crapped myself. But once I'd done a little bit of research and checked online and watched a couple of analysts' videos and stuff like that, I realized that this wasn't a natural thing in the market, and it was influenced by people just getting a fright. And so yeah, this I'm pretty sure is going to recover to where it was or where it should be, and then the market is probably just going to carry on from there. The market run or bull run, as they call it, that I predicted would happen is now overdue. It's probably close to a week overdue now. It should have happened already. It should have started. When we broke out of the little triangle right here, and then, or rather over here, came back down to test it as I thought we would. It didn't survive the test there, but we broke out again, and I knew we would come down to test it again, to test the resistance level. And well, nobody expected what happened next. It actually didn't even come down to test it, it just fell straight through. But yeah, in my opinion, nothing worth panicking about. This is an unnatural phenomenon in the market. It will correct itself in due course. This is a 4-hour chart we're looking at, so this we're talking about 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12 is, yeah, one and a half days. We're looking at roughly 1.5 days now since this happened. So as you can see, it's definitely bottomed out and rounding out. So or as you can see here, the RSI, the stochastics RSI, is now turning up, and it's going into the purple zone. I expect this is going to come a lot higher into there, which means it's good news. It's a bullish sign, and so is the MACD. As you can see, we've bottomed out there, and we are making a turn to come up. You can see these bars here are basically forming a half moon there, or a dome, and they will pretty soon, as the gap between these two closes, they will pretty soon get to zero and start to go positive. And as soon as that blue line crosses the red line or the orange line, we should see, as we are seeing already, an improvement in price. But when it goes positive, or when the blue line goes above the red line, you should see an increase in the speed at which it rises. So that is it for now. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. As we know, the stock market closes on the weekend. They don't trade, but cryptos do. And I think we are going to see quite a substantial rise in the Bitcoin price, especially considering what happened 2 days ago, 1.5 days ago. I think we are definitely, at least this weekend, going to come back up above these trend lines. Nothing's guaranteed, but I'm thinking that people are getting over what happened now, seeing that there's nothing actually wrong in the crypto market, and possibly have a little bit more confidence that this might be a safer market than the exchanges the stock exchange at the moment. So let's hold on till Monday. I'll probably produce another video on Monday. I'm going to be watching this carefully over the weekend, and yeah, I think we are going to see us rise back up there. And as I said, the market, the bull run that I was expecting is already close to a week overdue. It's time for it to happen, and I'm pretty confident still that it is going to happen.